The question I get asked most when people find out I am Stoic is, how do the Stoics not fear death? I can answer that with one Latin phrase, Mp.Monarh.Motivation, which is a reminder that we are mortal. It roughly translates into remember death, or remember your own mortality. And it's not the fact that the Stoics don't fear death, it is the fact that this reminder of death actually helps you to be grateful for everything that you do have, and it helps you to live life without frenzy, without apathy, without pretense. It makes you realize that every moment could be your last and that you must soak it in. You must take full appreciation and gratitude for the very moments we have. The little moments like sitting on the tram, eating dinner with a friend, walking through the park, all these little moments is what life is. And if we can appreciate these moments, then we can appreciate life. My aim with this video is to give you the realization that I once had, from the fear of death to acceptance and gratitude for the time we have. And I think by the time you've watched this video, you'll develop the same understanding that I once had. When I was younger, I would lie in bed every single night crying, thinking about what happens when you die. I would imagine darkness, I'd imagine hell, I'd imagine schools and skeletons and all these terrible things, and it kept me up every night. It was awful. And I remember one night I was lying there and thinking, what if I don't wake up? What if I just go to sleep and don't wake up? And that's what kept me up. And I thought, what if I don't wake up? I wouldn't even know. And that's kind of where I started to relax. And that was at a young age. I started to relax at that point. But then, after reading the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius and then learning about Stoicism and hearing the phrase memento mori, I've actually decided to keep the reminder of death in the forefront of my mind. In most instances, I try at all times remember death, as it gives me gratitude. And I can walk to shops, I can sit on the tram, I can sit there watching TV or looking out the window, reading a book, and just think, this could be it. And you really start to go, this could be it. This is quite amazing. Right now I'm doing it. And I'm just looking around the room thinking, this could be it. I'm at peace. I'm happy. I'm grateful for the time I have. I'll be reading some passages from the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. I'll start on book 9, verse 3. Do not despise death, welcome it, rather, as one further part of nature's will. Our very dissolution is just like all the other natural processes which life's seasons bring, like youth and old age, growth and maturity, development of teeth and beard and grey hair, insemination, pregnancy and childbirth. In the educated attitude to death, then, there is nothing superficial or demanding or disdainful, simply awaiting it as one of the functions of nature. And just as you may now be waiting for the child your wife carries to come home out of the womb, so you should look forward to the time when your soul will slip this bodily sheath. If you want another criterion, unscientific but emotionally effective, you'll find it quite easy to face death if you stop to consider the business you will no longer be leaving, and the sort of characters which will no longer contaminate your soul. You must not, of course, take offence at them, rather, care for them and tolerate them kindly. But still remember that the deliverance death brings is not the deliverance from the like-minded. This alone, if anything could, might pull you back and hold you to life, if you were allowed to live in a company of people who share your principles. But as things are, you see, how wearisome it is to live out of a tune with your fellows, so that you say, come quickly, death, or I too may forget myself. I think an interesting point to remember, and Marcus Aurelius talks about it in the Meditations, is when you think about the end of life and what may come for us, I can't think of a single negative answer for the person that dies as you're either religious or you're not religious, or any belief you believe in, what understanding you have of the afterlife or reincarnation or eternal peace, then None of them are quite fearful. The thing people fear is letting go of what we have. If this fear is so powerful on you that you're scared of losing this thing, then can't you look around and see how beautiful it is? I think people really forget that when they are faced with death and losing this life that they have, they understand how precious it is. And that is what gives people, and that's what gives the Stoics such gratitude and such presence, the understanding that when we die, we lose this gift, like the gift of life. Next passage from the Meditations is from book 214, which is as follows. Even if you were destined to live 3,000 years or 10 times that long, nevertheless remember that no one loses any life other than the one he lives, or lives any life other than the one he loses. It follows that the longest and the shortest lives are brought to the same state. The present moment is equal for all. So what is passing is equal also. The loss therefore turns out to be the merest fragment of time. No one can lose either the past or the future. How could anyone be deprived of what he does not possess? So always remember these two things. First, that all things have been of the same kind from everlasting, coming round and round again, and it makes no difference whether one will see the same thing for 100 years or 200 years or for infinity of time. Second, that both the longest lived and the earliest to die suffer the same loss. It is only the present moment of which either stands to be deprived, and if indeed this is all he has, he cannot lose what he does not have. Marcus Aurelius talks that all we have is the present. The past is gone and the future is not guaranteed. It's not promised, and all we do is live in this present moment. That's all we have. So when you die, that is all you have. This mere fragment of time is all that you lose, and that is the same for anyone. No matter how long you've lived, you lose the present. That's all you lose. And he also touches in the Meditations that, you know, you could live for 100 years, you could live 10 years. This life that you have is not defined by how long you live. It's not defined by your grey hairs. It's defined by what you make of it. You know, you could live a short time being kind to others, leading a good life, or you could be a bad person, ruining lives, ruining your own life, being miserable. You could do that for 100 years. What life is lived better, and who loses the most? We all lose the present. So the next passage, which I want to read from the Meditations, is book 1236, and it is the final passage from the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius when he died on the 17th of May 180 in Pannonia at his military quarters. Mortal man, you have lived as a citizen in the great city. What matter if that life is 5 or 50 years? The laws of the city apply equally to all. So what is there to fear in your dismissal from the city? This is no tyrant or corrupt judge who dismisses you, but the very same nature that brought you in. It is like the officer who engaged a comic actor dismissing him from the stage. But I have not played my 5 acts, only 3. True. But in life, 3 acts can be the whole play. Completion is determined by that being who caused first your composition and now your dissolution. You have no part in either causation. Go then in peace. The God who lets you go is at peace with you. Marcus Aurelius talks about the being or the entity, whatever takes you from life, the Grim Reaper, death, that takes you from life, is the same thing that brought you into life, that gave you the gift of life. If you believe in Mother Nature or the cosmic universe or God, they gave you life. They gave you this gift, and it's like the song, everything is borrowed. Nothing is ours. So we are given this gift for a brief amount of time, and then it's taken back. So there is nothing to fret. There's no reason to be angry that this being, or this thing, this entity, life that you're given is then taken away from the same thing. In this final paragraph, Marcus Aurelius wrote at his military quarters when he died aged 58, just short of his 59th birthday. He talks about the great city. It says, you've lived as a citizen in this great city. He's not talking about Rome. He is talking about life. He's talking about the universe. That is the great city that we are all a part of. And just like you look after your city, you look after your universe. And one thing is, all of our natures within the universe are tied. So we must look after each other, look after ourselves, and be good people, live in accordance with nature. Final passage from the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius that touches on and gives insight into the topic of death and memento mori is 12:26. And this will help you when you're struggling, you're stressed, you're not in a calm state of mind. Maybe things are a bit shaken up and you're confused. When you fret at any circumstance, you have forgotten a number of things. You have forgotten that all comes about in accordance with nature of the whole, that any wrong done lies with the other. Further, that anything that happens was always so in the past, will be the same again in the future, and is happening now across the world. That a human being has close kinship with the whole human race, not a bond of blood or seed, but a community of mind. And you have forgotten this too, that every man's mind is God and has flowed from that source, that nothing is our own property, but even our child, our body, our very soul have come from that source, that all is as thinking makes it so, that each of us live only the present moment, and the present moment is all we lose. Memento mori. I think when people first hear about memento mori, they understand it as the reminder of our own mortality. They remember death, and maybe that helps them take a hold of their life, as the fear of death holds people back from truly living. But the counterpart, to expand on memento mori, the point I find quite interesting is that nothing lasts forever. Every object we own, every person we meet, every moment we have is fleeting, and it is just a fraction of time. On the grand scale of the universe, it's just a fraction of time. So understanding this, one thing I like to think is that when you think of memento mori, you think this could be your last moment. You could die tomorrow. But you also have to think that the interactions you have with every person, that could be their last moment. Like you could leave an impression on someone, and that could be the last impression that they have. So it is a reminder to keep this at the forefront of your mind when you are with people going throughout your day, because you could be leaving them with their lasting impression. What you do can have such a profound impact on them before they pass. So you always have to think that in every encounter, that could be the last time you see that person, it could be the last time you do that thing or have that object. So be grateful for it. And things don't last forever. I see a meme going around a lot, and it says, one day you and your friends went out playing and none of you realized it will be the last time you ever went out together. And that's also, memento mori is also a reminder of the times we have, that they are the last, and you must be grateful for every moment you have, because moments are quite special when you think that they could be your last. The last time you have tea with someone, the last time you go to a cafe with your friend, the last time you go cinema with a group of friends, the last time you walk down a certain road, go to a certain park, see the sunset from your favourite view. All these moments could be the last time you do it, or it could be your last moment on earth. So remember, memento mori, as the Stoics say, remember your own death. The thing about memento mori is, and many Stoic principles, not just Stoic principles, philosophical principles and life principles and advice even, is sometimes you can hear them and it can change your life in an instant. Some things are so profound or they click with you instantly that it changes your life. But many things you have to incorporate it into your life. And that's why Memento Mori is, people would carry around a reminder like a skull or sand timer, is to remind themselves that this moment could be their last. And you keep that. Some people get tattoos. I've seen some very good tattoos about Memento Mori. I have a t-shirt right now that is a reminder of my own mortality. And it is just that reminder. Every so often you catch that reminder like this, you see yourself in the mirror, you look down, you see it. I see myself on camera when I watch back this footage. And it reminds me of my own mortality. And I think over time, over days, months, years, that reminder and incorporating this into your daily life, into your character, it starts to become part of you that you always understand. And you may even not need these material things to remind you of your own mentality. You can keep it in the forefront of your mind at all times. If you want to support what I'm doing, please consider becoming a YouTube member or subscribing, heading over to my Instagram at The Everyday Stoic, where I'm building a community of just almost 400,000 like-minded Stoics that are willing to learn about Stoicism and share their ideas. And the comments have been going crazy recently. I've been getting like 300, 400 comments on a lot of the posts, and I'm trying to answer all of them and get a good comment back to everyone, an actual thought out comment to everyone. And it's very difficult, but hopefully if I miss you on one comment or one message, I can get back to you on a further comment. So head over to my Instagram, head over to my website, www.theeverydaystoic.com, where you can get the Memento Mori t-shirt, or my favorite, the Amor Fati t-shirt. And there will be more things on there. I've been working on for a very long time, is a course about anger. It's a full guide on how to master your anger. It's from principles I've learned to master my own anger. And so that's very exciting to share. And if you don't have the money to buy it, I will always be sharing the lessons for free here on Instagram. They're not in a complete package like that. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day.